Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Whenever you get a chance to check out this morning talk. And I'm sorry, folks. I cut these before work, and then when I get home from work, I get the thumbnails ready and I get everything ready and start uploading on YouTube. And lately, YouTube has been horrible with uploads. I've had uploads that have taken 2-3 days just to upload. It'll just keep saying it's uploading and it won't finish. It's like it'll stop on the last step. And then I've had other times where I'll 20 minutes and boom, it's uploaded. So, and of course I'm doing it from my phone, so that may take longer. If I was doing it from my computer, like if I cut a video directly on my computer, it'd probably upload quicker. But so just bear with me on that. We're calling these morning talks. However, you guys are usually going to be seeing them in the evening or later afternoon, the next day, whatever. But I do this around my regular work schedule, so it is what it is. And for the most part, I try to do it low tech, at least for right now. I don't have the time to spend hours editing. I have other stuff even after work. I have a son in soccer and I do coaching and other things. So anyways, guys, that last video I did yesterday on abundance, it seems like that generated some curiosity in people. I don't think some people, based on some comments on my Facebook post about it, really understood what it was about. I mean, some people thought it's had something to do with just food, and we don't need more abundance. People are going to get fatter. I mean, come on, people. Let's. Did you listen to the video? No, you didn't. Are you critically thinking? No, you're not. That's the problem with most Americans and most people in general around the world, is they have this like hair trigger response to everything. They don't even read or look into or listen to what the content is. They just, based off of a thumbnail or off what other people are saying, they'll comment. Because Americans are lazy. I mean, it's absolutely the truth. Most Americans, and I'm talking about intellectually lazy. Most Americans, they just want to be told what to think. They outsource their thinking to AI, to the government, to coworkers, to their spouse, to whatever. They don't think for themselves. And this is unfortunate, because this is exactly why the state of the world is in the way it is. Because, folks, see, we're conscious energy entities. We are directly interfaced in with the quantum field. That is the system, the construct of the system that this world is. And it's a rule-based construct. And because we're conscious energy from source, interface directly in with that, and we're co-creators, our thoughts directly affect the quantum field. And because of this, they can manipulate us and use our thoughts, the power of our voice and our thoughts, against us. And a lot of this is done just by the pure fact that most people do not think for themselves. They're easily manipulated. They're easily herded. See where I went with that? They're herded by their pastor, by their government official, by their, I guess, whoever they look up to on social media or whatever. And they participate in what's called groupthink. And the problem with that groupthink is, if it's misguided, or it's manipulated in a negative way, or it's missing information, that groupthink is a powerful entity in itself. And that adds a lot of energy and motion to the quantum field. But when it's done by those means, by people that are ignorant and they're just in groupthink, it can have effects on our world that we don't want. It's just simply because these people are too lazy to think for themselves. So I want to get back to the whole abundance thing, because I don't think some people were really understanding what it was about. Folks, it's as simple as this. The universe is abundant. This realm was designed to expand, to build on, to multiply, to prosper. The Fibonacci spiral, it doesn't invert inward, it expands outward. And I explained in that last video how, to me, the perfect symbol of God is the Fibonacci spiral. You know, you could call it Source, the creator of all, the intelligence behind the universe, the mind that we find ourselves living in. It doesn't matter, folks. And I'm sorry if you have no clue what I'm talking about at this point. If you're still thinking of a biblical God, or you're an atheist to the point where you do not believe there is no intelligent design to this realm, you're both super ignorant. That's what I'm saying. We don't have enough critical thinkers in this world anymore. Even those that are that have spent, 8-10 years in college, universities, and, they think they're super intelligent. Yeah, those people usually are pretty intelligent, because that's their specialty. But it's typically around one subject. They might be a genius at math, but yet they have no freaking clue what I'm talking about. They have no clue about the quantum field or about how metaphysics and science meet. They don't have a clue about any of that. Like, they literally think they're a meat sack. They think the consciousness comes from the brain, which has been disproven so many times. There are actually scientists that do work, actual studies on life after death, and this is major universities, Harvard and such, and they have proved that the consciousness can leave the body, which means consciousness does not come from the freaking brain. It's not a flood of chemicals into the brain that causes your consciousness to be above your body, outside of your body. I mean, give me a break. Some of these people that fall for this BS, they're the same people that fall for this Old Testament God, the killer, the Sumerian God Enlil, that masquerades as the creator of all in the Old Testament. It's the same type of stuff. It's just a lack of critical thinking, a lack of research, and a lack of understanding. Anyways, folks, I got to get back to the abundance thing. I mean, it all connects. It really all connects. It's just reading people's comments. It's just makes me weep for humanity. Just how utterly off the mark we are. And then you wonder why we're in this situation we find ourselves in. Then you wonder how people that get elected, like these jokers, get elected. And how people follow mainstream media and such. Folks, the abundance I was speaking of is the abundance of this realm. This realm was designed to replicate, okay? Look at, take a tomato, for instance. You can take one tomato, harvest the seeds from that tomato, and you can grow perhaps 100 plants or more, tomato plants. And now out of those plants, you have how many tomatoes produced on each plant? And now how many seeds out of each of those tomatoes could you harvest? Are you not understand what I'm saying here? See, this realm is designed for abundance. Everything is renewable and ever increasing. Now, sometimes species go extinct and such. Sometimes some resources get used up to almost the point where you think that they're gone. But yet they always find a way to rebuild, to renew. Like I mentioned in the last video, oil. We've been lied about oil forever. And the reason is because oil is their most powerful tool used to control the world. Oil runs the world. Now, does it have to be oil that runs the world? Absolutely not. Should it be wind and solar? I mean, they could have a place in this. I mean, if every house had a solar system that you could build to produce more than you would ever need and actually add to the grid for the people that don't have it, and maybe knock out your energy bill altogether except for what you're paying for the panels, that would be fantastic. But see, no, they limit you just to barely produce enough for your home. And then they cut your production artificially. See, that's what's wrong with this world, folks. Everything's a scam. See, all of the energy sources that they bring to us are energy sources that they can control and tax and limit and meter. Folks, what I'm proposing is something radically different, but actually intelligent. They put all of our systems on a grid, folks. You get your water. Most people, unless you have a well, most people get their water from their city or their town. It's in a giant grid of pipes and systems and facilities and treatment plants, and then they like to add a lot of shit to your water, poison, we'd call fluoride and chlorine and other chemicals, and some of those are, they're meant to disinfect. But folks, if you actually knew what you're drinking when you drink city water, you would never drink it again. I mean, you're drinking every woman in your city's contraceptive, every manic depressant, you're drinking their psychoactive drugs. See, we're such a heavily medicated population. I mean, I've seen people that have so many freaking pills they take every day, they got to carry a little tackle box around. So when they piss, that goes into the system, folks, and our systems are not designed to take out those chemicals, those drugs, out of our water supply. So not only are they calcifying your pineal gland, the seat of your soul, your connection point of your higher self to the brain, to the physical body, but you're also taking doses of medicines that you would never need or want without your consent. Electricity. Everybody's hooked through natural gas pipelines or through electrical lines. However your house gets energy, it's on a grid. All controlled, all taxed, all metered, managed with systems and all kinds of things, right? Sounds great, right? Great way to build a civilization. No, folks, it's a bad way. Because whenever a link in the chain gets busted, everybody loses power. At least a big portion of people lose power. Same with water. Some goes wrong with the water. Some, maybe too many chemicals got added in, or a main pipe burst. Now nobody has water, or everybody's getting poisoned. Are you not getting where I'm coming at here? So my radical idea about all this is more of a homestead type thinking. Now, obviously, if you live in an apartment, this ain't going to work for you. I'm talking about standalone homes. What if every household had its own water and energy supply? Instead of paying all of your money into the providers, you just pay for the system. Think about this, folks. Like I said in the last video, They have devices where you can pull water out of the atmosphere. Now, if you have well access, that is preferable, because underground water, for the most part, is very good for you. Occasionally, you can get some radiation, and you can get some other particulates in your water that you have to treat it with. But for the most part, well water is usually a safe bet. And it's not, guess what, full of all those drugs and chemicals and fluoride. Now, you may have some natural fluoride in your water like I do in my well. Because I live in the mountains, you're going to have a little bit of natural fluoride. However, folks, your body actually needs a little bit of natural fluoride. It's one of the minerals that your body can use. However, it's not a byproduct waste fluoride that comes from chemical facilities as a byproduct, as a waste that they sell to your local municipality to pour into your water. So imagine you have your own well, or you have a device that pulls water from the atmosphere. In very, very arid states, this might be a little more of a problem, but get this. If you have the states that have high humidity, the states that have good water sources as far as wells go, states that can utilize this technology in every home, then guess what? You can direct the flows of the rivers and the water to the states that would struggle with those technologies. See, folks, we've always had the tools to fix this planet, to fix our world, to fix our systems. But the problem is with what I'm talking about decentralizing our systems. See, they want centralized control because that's how they control you. Imagine if every house was decentralized, like its own homestead. You get your own water supply. Either you have a well or you have a device that pulls it from the atmosphere. Imagine if you have your own power source. Imagine if you could actually buy a solar system that's not limited by the local energy company on its production. And you could actually build a system that could, say, double what you use. Imagine this, folks. Now, obviously, you're going to want to capture and store some of that in your own home battery system, so that, say, you have storms for a few days and you have backup power. That you have enough stored away to get through that time. But what you're not using and what your battery doesn't need after full capacity, you put back in the grid. Imagine if millions, tens of millions of Americans' homes were designed like this. Imagine how much that would add to the power grid. But imagine even better. You're not on a power grid at all. You have unlimited power. You can expand your property. You can use more powerful devices. And you create all the power you need. You don't need it from a grid, from the government, from a power company. Now, folks, they are designing either, and it's probably already in the... Look, folks, we are 40 to 60 years behind what DARPA's already invented. Most of your governments around the world, folks, they have high technology that's being worked on in secret. A lot of times off the books, so you can't get information on an FOI. They do this on purpose because they usually typically move that technology towards weapons instead of towards communities, and instead of being used for their country, for the betterment of their fellow man. No, they build weapons to put everybody in harm's way. But that's unfortunately what happens. Now, organizations like DARPA have some of the smartest people in the world working on these systems. I guarantee you that we have all the designs, all the systems we need now to run. Every household could run its own energy, water supplies, and everything. And you could mass produce it, so the cost would be something most people could deal with. And we could decentralize. Imagine how hard a country would be to conquer if it was decentralized. Imagine, whenever there's a war, what do they do first? They go after your water supplies, after your food supplies, after your energy supplies, right? Your power plants. We see that going on over, and I don't even know if I can mention the country's names because, my God, censorship is ridiculous nowadays. But you get my point. There's things going on overseas that prove this point. Now imagine if every home produced its own energy and water. And for the most part, people could produce a lot of their own food. Imagine if everybody turned their frickin' stupid ass grass yards into gardens. Planted some fruit trees instead of decorative trees. Imagine everybody raised some chickens. There you go. You're producing your own food, your own water, your own electricity, your own power. Imagine how hard a country like that would be to invade, to conquer. I mean, what do? Everything's decentralized. Every home is like its own bastion, its own castle, its own homestead. That'd be pretty damn hard, folks, I'll tell you what. And imagine the freedom that people like that would live under. Because what power would government have over you when you're not connected into their systems? When everybody lives sovereign? See, folks, I know this is just a wet dream. I know this will never happen. Because we have psychopaths that run our governments, that run our systems. And we have psychopaths that love to play war games. So this would never happen because this would be in more of a utopic type of living. See, everything that they tell us that the best ways of government always come down to government control. Never to decentralized government. Because psychopaths don't like that. They want total control, iron-fisted control. They want their boot on your freaking neck forever. And it doesn't matter if that's capitalism, if that's communism or socialism. It's all the same. They're just different names for boots on your neck. Oh yeah, capitalism has maybe a little nicer face to it than communism. But it all degenerates into corruption eventually. And then it's just as bad, if not worse, than even communism, if that could be possible. Now, communism is total government control, and everybody's poor except for the ruling class. Now, I know a lot of leftists, they have wet dreams about communism. Oh my God, if everybody just lived equally poor, we'd all be happy. See, folks, in a decentralized system, you could do business with whoever you want. You could trade. Maybe you produce a certain food item that somebody else would like and you trade with them. You could do business with whoever you want. It's hard for the government to come down hard on you when you have your own energy supply and your own water. They can't cut anything off. They're not raping you constantly through taxation and through their systems that they run. I mean, you get taxed on taxes on taxes. Now, you're still going to have some sort of tax. I'm not saying taxes would ever go away. However, they could be more limited. Because, see, when a lot of the infrastructure that you need is already self-contained on your property, you don't need as many of their systems for them to tax you for. Then perhaps maybe in a decentralized type country, with government's hands tied because everybody is a castle amongst themselves, essentially, then actually money that was brought into the system maybe could be used for good things, for improving technologies, and then for helping people find enlightenment. See, folks, governments don't want you to find enlightenment. See, they love churches and all that because churches, once again, are part of their system. It controls your thinking. See, as long as they can get you to think inside this box or that box, divide you against your fellow man, divide the right versus the left, capitalists versus socialists, we never find common ground. And they use that division as a way to continue their iron-fisted grip on society. But imagine when you're decentralized, and now you're no longer afraid of where you get your water, your energy, and a decent amount of your food. And now you can trade with your neighbors for things maybe they produce that you would like, and you have some they may like. Now, I'm not saying, folks, we do away completely with capitalism or anything. I'm not saying that. Okay? I'm about free market. True free market, not the lie that we're told of American free market capitalism. Because all we live under is a crony, fascist, cronyism, a corporate fascism is what we live under. And if you don't believe that, well, just look at the censorship being done by the social media companies for the last 3 years straight. Yeah, that's called corporate fascism, folks. Oh, I know that those leaders of those companies, they claim to be these big liberals and everything, but they're fascists. They do exactly what the old, those the dudes with the N-word that you can't say either because they censor it. Yeah, control speech. That's one of the favorite things of fascists. See, trying to control the flow of information and the trading of information is what governments love to do too. See, there's this Pandora's box though that got open that they've lost a lot of their iron grip and control on us over, and that's called the internet. Now they're trying to control the internet, like Google. Google controls what websites you see. They control what the topics are. They can affect, I can't even say this word either because civics now is considered, especially by Facebook, to be not bad quality content. Get that, folks. Right before a thing starting with an E, you're not allowed to talk about that anymore because civics is now considered bad content. And I don't know if YouTube is the same on that, but no, I literally read the updates in the new Facebook guidelines because, when you have a huge following and that's where most of your work goes, you want to keep up with what they're doing because they like to do these things where they change the rules halfway through the game and then they retroactively drop that stuff on you, so they could do a rule change and say, oh, you can't use these words or you can't talk about these subjects anymore. And then you know what they'll do is they'll go back and put posts from 5-6 years ago. Now all of a sudden they go against community standards and stuff. I mean, folks, that's censorship, that's fascism, that's corporate fascism. That's government colluding with corporate entities to censor you, to take away your constitutional rights. I don't give a shit if you're a leftist or rightist or centrist. Whenever speech is limited and controlled by a corporate entity, it don't matter what they say. Well, this is our platform. We only want this to be talked about. We have the right to do that. Folks, the government is sanctioning that. In fact, it's already been proven that the government was colluding with them. That's corporate fascism. Oh, yes, your buddy Jeff Bezos, your Zuckerberg and all these clowns, they're fascists, okay? They all masquerade like they're these new age, we're these like new age technocrat, liberals and stuff. Pfft, they're liars, folks. They're fascists. They're iron-booted fascists, okay? Let's just be real. Censorship is fascism, okay? Let's be real about it. And we used to live in a time when the Constitution was respected, but now we have judges now that just do what they want. They don't even follow the Constitution anymore. And that's how you know your country has been taken over. That's proof, folks. Wow, I've strayed so much. I don't even know if I could call this Abundance Part 2. Anyways, we talked about a lot of subjects, folks. Hey, I talk about what I want to talk about, okay? If you listen to me, then you understand that, And you may agree with me on some stuff, and you probably don't agree with me on some stuff, and that's fine. See, this is the power of humanity when we can actually exchange ideas and thoughts. And if you not even agreeing with me can still listen to a whole talk I do, and you get something from it, and you agree maybe with some of it, and maybe some things we can find compromise on, that's how we fix society, folks. That's how we heal the divisions. That's how we learn to love each other, folks. And it's okay to respect that other people have different views. I'm not saying everybody has to think like I do, okay, folks? However, I believe a decentralized society will be better in the long term for the world. Because when you take away the controls of government over your life, at least a lot of those controls, maybe not all of them, okay, I get it. We're not going to get rid of all of them. But man, you want to know real freedom. It may not be true freedom in the sense because you're still going to be a debt slave and stuff. And it don't matter how rich you are, folks. You're still a debt slave because, see, the day you're born, you're given a social security number. And there is actually a serial code on the back of your birth certificate too. Well, that serial number, that code, you can look it up on the stock market, and your number is being traded as a collateral on the U.S. debt. Now, this is probably similar to every country on earth. That's why they call you human resource, folks. They don't look at you as sovereign entities of conscious energy that is inhabiting a human body. They look at you as sheep, as cattle, as a human resource, as a battery, as a worker bee. That's it, folks. That's all they see you as. But I know that we're more than that. We just have to wake up, folks. See, that's what they don't want. Once you wake up, you bust their paradigms wide open. They no longer have control over humanity because once we wake up, we just push them aside and we do our own thing. We decentralize. We have companies that go out there, build these systems, and introduce them to the public, and they start putting them, and people start getting disconnected off the grid. Now get this. Did you know most states will come down hard on you if you do live off grid? If you build an off-grid system, there was this guy that lived up near my sister-in-law in Colorado. It was up in the mountains. And he'd built a totally off-grid system. He wasn't even using the power, the local power grid. He literally just ran all of his power off grid. They drug him out of his house, folks, condemned his home, took him to jail. Think about that. Why are they so afraid of decentralization? Why do you think? Because they control you through food, through power, through water. Look at what's going on right now in, Idaho? And this is supposed to be a red state, folks. Rah, rah, the righties protect us, right? Yeah, the Republicans are going to protect us all and help us fix things, right? They're shutting off water to thousands of farms right now, folks. Not allowing them to even use their own wells. all over some kind of regional water dispute. No, folks, there's a darker thing that's happening. It's called our food supply. And I'll just leave it at that. We'll talk about that another day. But if I was you, I would put away some food, folks. But I'm telling you, decentralization is the way to go for the future. See, they want globalization and hardcore iron-fisted centralization. They think the only way that this world can run right is for them to control every aspect of it. And eventually they're going to want AI systems to run all of these systems. So it won't even be a human putting their boot on your neck. It's going to be a computer. It's going to be robotics putting boots on your neck. I'm telling you, folks, decentralization is the way to go. And it maybe sound radical, but if you think about it, imagine if your house right now, you were not connected into any water or electricity. You had systems that produce all that at your home. And if thousands and hundreds of thousands of homes, millions of homes had these systems, it would be affordable for everybody. Now, how much of this technology is available to the public right now, and how much is being held up in government programs like DARPA? That's a big question, ain't it? It'd be interesting to know, huh? So, hey, folks, anyways, I'm going to go jet here. Get going here at work. On the hamster wheel. Hopefully someday I will not have to do this, and I will be able to full-time make videos and write. I'd love to write some books, have more time to research and produce more work for you guys. But it is what it is, and so I do this around what my normal job is. So anyways, hey guys, I love you guys, and I will talk to you later.